Hello, welcome to the One I Have Spare Time podcast. My name is Frank. I'll be sitting here talking to you for a few minutes. As usual, I'm wearing clothes. I'm wearing a Kakashi pullover and a Trump hat. Nothing special here. Anyway, we're going to talk about my favorite topic, K-pop. I know we don't do as many K-pop vids anymore. It's just I pretty much just listen to K-pop. I'm not really following the drama, but if I see something funny, I'll talk about it. That's why I talk about Kiss of Life a lot in Cat's Eye. But anyway, I still see people talking about Yuna, and we know, or you know, if you listen to me, that Yuna is one of my favorite K-pop idols. I've been talking about her since like 2018. That's why one of the seasons of this podcast was dedicated to Yuna, because I dedicated a season to an idol I want to have sex with. But anyway, uh, but people are still talking about Yuna having thigh pads, or maybe she got like a BBL. And I really don't want to do research on what a BBL is, but from what from the little I have gathered, it's transferring fat from one part of your body and putting it into your butt. Okay. I can't take that seriously. Or you can get like injections of what I don't know. But you can get other kind of injections to make your butt look bigger. Like we've seen those viral like local posts where like it was that Russian guy, and instead of lifting weights, he just kept injecting his arms. So he had like these giant arms, but he was like really skinny at the same time. But yeah, anyway. So I was talking to people about her ass, and I was like, yeah, it looks like she's wearing hip pads. But then I kept looking at a picture, so we're gonna analyze this. So this is Yuna, um, like around the year she debuted. So this is roughly 2018, 2019. This is the Dollar Dollar. This is like when they did like they just debuted, and they when K-pop idol groups debut, they usually do a show for like the press. So it's like a press conference, but they do a concert. So this is roughly 2018, 2019 in that area. Okay, so we're gonna say it's 2018. Okay, so you see what she looks like. She's I think she's 5'7". So like she's a skinny girl, you know, good looking, all that jazz. But she's skinny. She looks like a normal skinny woman, right? Okay. But right here, there's no hip pads, because in 2018 there was no hip pad controversy. Okay, so now we're gonna jump to Icy. Okay, so now this is when I really got into Yuna, because I thought in Icy, uh, she was really sexy in that video. But anyway, this is a picture of her performing out Icy on the M countdown, and she looks normal. Like her legs look normal, and there's a bunch more pictures. I'm only taking one picture from each album, because we'll be here all day if we do more, because there's a million pictures of Yuna out there. Okay, but so this is 2019. She looks normal, right? Okay. 2020 wannabe, definitely normal, and she looked great in wannabe. Okay, and there was no discussion of hip pads, because I remember vividly, because when it comes to Itzy, like I think it might have been like the first five. Wait, hold on. One, two, three, four, five, six. The first six albums I I bought, and then their seventh, eighth, um, I was like, no. So I stopped buying them. But anyway, we'll get into that later. Anyway, she looks normal. Okay. So this is Wannabe. So now we're going to go to Not Shy. Not Shy is probably my favorite era because I think Not Shy was like their best song ever. But anyway, I know she has bangs, but look, normal. Like she's still skinny. She looks normal in the jeans. Like there's a bunch of other pictures of her dancing, whatever. She looks normal. Like if you look at her ass, there's nothing. And even back then, no one was saying anything. Okay, so now we're gonna jump to In the Morning. In the morning, in the morning was the first time I didn't like their lead single, and so I did not buy this album actually because this is the first time I'm like, oh, they're falling off. But Yuna, still a big fan, but I'm not gonna buy the album just to blindly support the group. And this is around this time where I'm like, yeah, I'm not just gonna buy a K-pop album because I like the group. The music has to be good if I'm gonna spend money on this. So this is the first time I didn't buy anything. But anyway, that's beside the point. She looks great. No hip pads, no surgery or whatever, and no one in the press was talking about her wearing any hip pads or anything. Okay. Now we're gonna go to 2021 still, and this is "Crazy in Love." This was a great album, and these pictures are all over my wall. Uh, this was peak Yuna, I think. I know I probably said that 5 times already, but I really like the way she looked in this era. And once again, normal, like her body shape hasn't changed. It's like still a tall, skinny girl. Okay. And I did buy that album. Okay, and so now we're gonna jump to. I have to look. I don't have it memorized. Okay, so the next one is Sneakers. This Sneakers came out in 2022, July of 2022. Okay, she is shaped the same. Skinny, very skinny. Okay, and no one was talking about she got work done. And this album sucked. I did not buy this album. Okay. Now we're going to move on to Cheshire. This is November 2022. Now, if anything, I just think it's because of the flare of the skirt. Cuz like she's wearing like tight, I don't know what these are called, but it's like underwear, but it's like really tight. So I don't see how she could wear hip pads on this because like, well, yeah, like safety shorts, because it's like hers, like during a routine her skirt kind of flies up, so she's not wearing hip pads. But like, I just in case someone might say something because it flares, that's just because it's a frilled skirt. Okay, and then Cake is the next one. These are pictures from Cake came out in um the album's called Kill My Doubt. But anyway, this is July 2023, and at least for the album photos, like she still looks the same, like tall, skinny, right? Hot, all that jazz. But I'm just saying, like her body hasn't changed. Okay, and Cake was really good. Okay, now Born to Be. This is gonna be January 2024. This is the first time I think she looks different. Now it could be because these are leather pants, but to me this is when the first time I'm like, okay, is she wearing something under here? Because you can wear leather pants and it still clings to because like Yeji's body, it still kind of clings like, and like Rujin, That looks normal for her. Sharyong looks normal, but hers, it looks extra clumpy. So to me, that it looks like this looks like this looks like hip pads to me, and that was in um 2024, Born to Be. Okay, so I think that's when it first happened. But see, this isn't like crazy noticeable though. Okay, but just saying that's like 2024. Okay, so now the next one is Gold, which came out in October of 2024. Now she's back to normal. See, this looks like every other pic we've shown. You know, the same kind of flat, except here, if you compare it to Born to Be, there's a big difference. Like you could tell she's not wearing any hip pads or anything. She's just regular skinny Yuna. But then you go back to Born to Be, this is definitely hip pads. I mean, I don't care that it is. I'm just saying, like, people are like defending her, saying she's not wearing hip pads. It's just because they're blind fans. Like, Yuna being one of the best looking idols in the industry since 2018 has a big fan base just because of her looks. That's just how K-pop is. The best looking idols are usually the most popular. So you have people defending this, and then like if you look, like, you kind of, at least me, like, I see that line there. I mean, I don't know anything about hip pads, but like everything is suspicious in this. Like, but it looks, to me, that looks like hip pads. Anyway, so this is normal, and now we're gonna jump to um, Gold. I think this is supposed to be like at a Gold. I mean, the same year it came out, because Gold came out in uh, yeah, October 2024. Okay, so let's look at this image. See, this looks normal, and I believe this is like them going on tour. But it looks normal though, right? Okay, so and then we have a comparison picture. This is what Yuna normally looks like. See, on the left, and then this. Well, that's obviously hip pads. See, I see. I think this picture alone proves it, and I got this from like I believe Korea Boo, because like there was an article about it. Like like there's articles about Yuna's ass, which is sad. Okay, so that, but once again, like, I love Yuna. I think she's hot. I have, like, if you look at my wall, the most pictures I have on my wall are pictures of Yuna. So like I don't like, like, it's not like I'm attacking her, but like people just gotta wake up. Okay, now here we go. We have an article, and we're not gonna read it, but see, look at this live performance. This is not natural. And but they're saying it's like a BBL, but this definitely looks like hip pads. That's just like what's going on here? Are there any more pits of? Oh, I guess not. Okay. See, and then people were saying it's a BBL because of this pitch. But see, now the problem is everyone is overanalyzing everything because you know people don't have a life, and I'm only making this video because I keep seeing people talk about it, but I really don't care. But I mean, you gotta admit, like, she does look silly uh in this. She really does. But this is obviously hip pads. but then up here they're calling it a BBL. But I just think that's just an awkward picture. Like you don't look perfect in every picture, and then like you're dancing weird. So like I think Yuna's just wearing hip pads. I don't think she got surgery because when you're that skinny and you get surgery like that, it's gonna stand out way too much. That's just not gonna work. Because like they starve themselves. Well, no, I take that back. They just eat normal. Like if you actually eat normal, you stay skinny. So they just eat normal, and so like if you eat normal, you actually lose weight. Because you're eating your calorie intake is based on your activity level. So if you get like a BBL, your ass is going to look 10 times as big because that's the one thing that's not going to shrink. So I'm pretty sure she's wearing hip pads because she tends to go back and forth because at some photo shoots she looks normal, but then like at that live performance, her ass is all crazy. So anyway, me being someone who's been staring at Yuna since 2018, I think I'm an expert on her body. uh, she she wears hip pads. She didn't have surgery, and that's sad that I had to make a K-pop video about Yuna's ass. Anyway, you guys have a good one. I'll talk to you later. Peace out.